Welcome back. It's wonderful to see you. I'm just going to do this clicky thing here. All right, there we go. Well, I have a really interesting thing to tell you today. I have interesting things. I hope that at least that you find interesting with every one of these videos. But today is very cool, and the reason I say that um, is because I was very fortunate to have two conversations over the last couple of days that really um, hit home, all about pivotry, all about all the things that we do, all of which seem to be wrapped up in pivotry. And that's why the title of today's episode 163 is Your Superpower is Really Cool. And I mean, I've known it was cool from the beginning. However, now it's like it's cool with sprinkles on top, if that makes any sense. So, good morning, Charles. How are you? How's Kat? How's everything going? Stream Element Bot is running. That's nice, whatever that means. So, I want to get right in. Before I talk about the thing I want to talk about, and I take a sip of coffee. Uh, I want to show you a couple of cool things. So, I'm doing a live fan event in Ottawa on Sunday, August the 13th. Now, some of you who are watching or who will be watching, super good, and Kat's doing a lot better. Oh, excellent, excellent. Okay, good to know. My great friend Charles, his wife had to have a procedure done. She's had all kinds of things go wrong after a rather horrible accident. And when we have an accident, the body walks around saying "ow" in all kinds of places that we don't expect, we don't see coming. It's like a ripple effect, right? Anyway, back to this thing. So I'm doing this live show, and it's a fan event. It's like all these cons, Comic Con, Hollywood Con, whatever they're called, Pensacola, Toronto, whatever. And I keep getting invited back because the clever fellow who runs it, Lance Moran, considers me his TV mom, his surrogate mom. Good morning, Freddie. It's good to see you. So, and Lance keeps saying, yes, come back, please come back. It's good to see you, Mom. And so he said, you need to let me know what stuff you're bringing so I can promote it. And I said, well, I want to keep some of it a surprise. I want to keep some of it a secret. I mean, people know they're going to see me. They know they're going to see Mom. They know they're going to see Care Bear stuff. But I want some surprises. But I do have to show you this. I think it's awesome. So this is a hat, and it says "Caring is cool," obviously, and it's got a bear, one of my bears on the side, and and then it's got the Care Bears logo, and it's legit. It's the real original Care Bears stuff. So now I only have two of those. I only have two because that's all there were. So that's interesting. And then for my you can't do that people, you have no idea. You have no idea how hard I look to find stuff for You Can't Do That on Television. It's crazy. It's just so hard to find. But I think I may have achieved the almost impossible. Ready? All right, here we go. Ta-da! Are we impressed? So it's Bar's Burger, and then underneath it says, "What do you think's in the burger?" So I have a couple of extra larges, and I have a couple of mediums, and I have a couple of small, and I'll be bringing those, and I'll be signing them. I certainly won't be signing them Barth, but Mom did go once in a while to Barth, so it's perfectly legit, and I'll be signing the hat. You want the shirt? We'll talk. So, in any case, that is part of the lovely surprise that is going to be at the show. And the other wonderful surprise is a very good friend of mine, whose name is Gaetan Lacasse. And Gaetan is a Canadian military veteran who served his country proudly, who sustained post traumatic stress disorder, as a result of his deployment. And he has been able to turn his life around because he has a service dog. And the service dog is trained to detect early onset episodes. Now, how this happens, how this works, how they, first of all, they find a dog that may have a predisposition to being alert to that sort of thing. However, it has been discovered that dogs can smell shifts in our body chemistry. It has been proven and is being used widely. Certain dogs are able to smell diabetes. They can detect a crash ahead of time. There are dogs that can detect an epileptic episode ahead of time. Some can detect the presence of cancer. Some have been trained in the COVID virus. And what they are alerting to, the dogs have an incredible sense of smell. What they're alerting to is there's a shift in our body chemistry when the body is attacked by or is retaliating and attacking back whatever it is that has invaded us. And in the case of a traumatic stress episode, it's a faulty wiring, it's a glitch, and the subconscious brain that remembers everything that happened to us, that has an emotional base to it, it thinks that the memory is actually in the present tense. And the subconscious only lives in the present tense. When it senses danger, it's now. It's not sensing something that happened in the past. So it alerts the body to defend against what it thinks is actually going on in this moment. The dogs can sense it. They have to be trained to sense it. And what they do when they sense it is they touch their human partner. What they are when they do that, when they put their paw on your body, is they are an external pattern interrupter. It's like you see somebody riding along the street on a bicycle. If you took a stick and you shoved it into the spokes of the front wheel, the bike stops immediately. So does the pedaling. And then it falls over. And so do you. And what that stick does is it disrupts the flow, the momentum, but it interrupts the signal from the brain to the legs to the pedals to the wheel. It stops that. And when I first learned about this, I first learned about it back when I was writing my romance novel Unsuitable. This is back in 2018 and 2019. And that's when I first met Gaetan. I met him at Ottawa Comic Con, and he was explaining it to me. And he said, we all have the ability to interrupt ourselves, but we have to know it's happening. And the thing is that when it's subconscious, when it's happening in the back of the brain, we're not aware. It happens without our knowledge. I mean, if we pause and think about it, we know we're blinking. We know what we're doing when we're swallowing. We know what we're doing when the fellow hits the doctor hits us with that little rubber hammer on the funny point on the knee, and you go bonk. And if somebody hits our funny bone on our elbow and we drop something, we know what's going on, but we're not aware until it happens, because it's not something we decide to do. It's not something that is happening here. This is happening as a knee-jerk, automatic, subconscious survival response, impulse response. Now, what's very, very interesting about this, when I first learned about it, I was totally fascinated by the fact that the dogs could do this. And I was totally fascinated by the proven fact, because Gaetan introduced me to several people involved in this project that he became involved in. Science has backed it up. The training has been observed by scientists, and they have tested and retested, and they know that the dog is behaving in a way that causes a pattern interrupt. And brilliant. The thing that had puzzled me for quite a while, and when Gaetan and I were talking, I said, so I understand now what the dog does. The question, Gaetan, is why does it work? I know what the dog is doing. Why does it work for us? What are we doing that finishes the connection? It stops the incident. Why does it stop us? What happens when the dog, I know the stick in the spoke stops the wheel from going around, I get it, I can see it, but when the dog puts the paw, I had a friend of mine that was uncle PTSD, Agent Orange, napalm, oh dear, oh how wonderful. Charles has a Purple Heart from a veteran who served bravely and lost his life. It's a beautiful story, Charles. So when I said to Gaetan, I get it about a stick in the spoke. I get it. I understand what it's doing. It's a pattern interrupt. But in this situation, I have an idea, and I want you to tell me if I'm right. And he said, tell me the idea. So I started talking. I said, I need to back up a little bit and talk to you about pivotry. And so I explained pivotry in motion. And I explained how and why we are so good at this, and how and why we don't know that we're so good at it, that it's in fact this superpower we don't even know that we have. And I said, I think our ability to develop all these different qualities in us is done because we are mirroring. And he said, that sounds right. And so I want to explain this to you, because as soon as I do, you're going to go, oh my God, you're going to palm to the forehead. So this is what mirroring is. Mirroring is when we as babies, before we can talk, we are learning from our parents and our siblings and our pets and the people around us how to do things. We watch and we mirror them. When our parent puts food on a spoon and brings the spoon to us as a baby, the parent goes like this. And we go, and the parent puts the spoon in the mouth. And then the parent goes, and we go, and then we swallow, because what else are we going to do with what's in our mouth? And then, oh, and the parent repeats it, and the parent repeats it. When we learn ourselves how to pick up a fork, not by the pointy ends, pick up by the handle, and I'm going to sneeze. I'm going to sneeze. You know what that is? A sneeze when I'm teaching something. Excuse me. I'm saying something that I know is true. It's a belief thing. It's so funny. Just remind yourself of that. When you're talking about something that you know is true and you believe is true, you'll get this sort of belief thing going on, and you might cough or sneeze. So anyway, when they teach us how to pick up the fork, we do it like this until we get some dexterity going on, and how to get stuff on the fork and try and keep it on the fork. And it's a balancing act. And that's why they invented bibs and trays that are here, because most of the food not making it to the mouth until we get good at it. And after we get good at it and we practice it, the subconscious brain says, I got this. You can keep talking and you can have a conversation and you can cry over the loss of something. I know how to feed us. And so we can feed ourselves without even thinking about it. That's how I think. I'm pretty sure that's how we can eat a complete container of ice cream without realizing what we've done. We can brush our teeth. We can put our clothes on. We can comb our hair. We can drive our car. without having to think about it, consciously think about it, because the subconscious is taking care of it. It's a habit that it has learned over time, simple repetitive motions. The subconscious brain can be rewired to learn new tasks as long as they are simple and repetitive. And so that we can do it is very cool. It allows us to, think about this while we're driving that. It allows us to find our socks and then brush our teeth without having to say, which end of the toothbrush do I hold? Like, we can speed up the process, which is wonderful. The point is not how good we get at it, but how we learn it in the first place. We learn it by mirroring. And the important thing about mirroring is that it is not something we have to think about. We automatically do it. We imitate the people who are strong. We imitate everything around us to learn how it works, how everything works. Before we can talk, before there are instruction booklets, we learn by watching and doing. People are still doing it. I don't know how to change the shower head. Watch a YouTube video. Everybody says that now. There is a way. We watch the video. We take the laptop into the bathroom. Don't let it get wet. Watch the video, and we learn something. Son of a gun. We learn how to change something on the car. We learn how to cook something. Well, you might learn how to cook something. And so all of this is mirroring. All of it. All of it is subconscious. We do not realize that the process we are using is mirroring because we don't have to think about it. We just do it. The subconscious is in charge. The thinking, conscious, aware part of the brain is not paying attention to how we're learning. It's paying attention to the learning and retaining it and asking questions and coming to terms with cause and effect. This part of the brain is in the present, assessing what we're learning, giving it value. We're not aware ever while we're in the moment that what we're doing is basic mirroring. So, why am I telling you this? Because pivotry in motion, I told you that as I would talk about this and as we would go on, I would explain the how. And once you know the how, it's exciting because you own it then. You say, that's right. That is what I do. Oh my God. And then the role I play in all of this is giving you examples in the books and in our workshops and in the shows, and then giving you exercises to practice, to get good at. Now, I'm going to give you a couple of examples of mirroring that we do to prove that we're not aware. I need you to own the sudden realization that we're doing stuff without even realizing we're doing it. So you're in a room with a lot of people. Might be a show, it might be a lecture, it might be back in the day where you were in class. It might be, if you work in a place where there's a lot of people, maybe you're in retail, and there's a fair number of people around. Have you ever noticed that when one person yawns a really big yawn, have you ever noticed that you feel a yawn coming on? Have you ever said to somebody that you're just talking to and they yawn that huge, it's so satisfying yawn, like a big old cat? You say, stop it, you're making me yawn. Have you noticed that? That's mirroring. That's mirroring. We are mirroring them. Good morning, Neil. So It happens in a room when a person coughs. You have an audience, and it was pretty scary, in the early days of COVID when we still weren't sure whether we could get together with large groups of people. One person would cough and everybody would go. Before COVID, one person would cough and a bunch of people would cough. The person on stage trying to do the show is like, geez, because now everybody's coughing. And so while they're coughing, they're not paying attention as they're coughing. I can't hear the person on stage while I'm coughing. All I can hear is me coughing. If somebody sneezes, the next thing you know, everybody's got a tickle. Everybody feels it coming. And while they feel it coming, they're not listening to what's on stage. Why not? Well, because this is front and center. What that is, why you're triggered, is mirroring. We are copying the person who started it. Why? Why? I don't want to cough or sneeze. Why am I doing it? Because it's 1,000,000 years old and it's an alert signal within the herd. When you see a bird call, you hear it. You see the bird fluttering. All of a sudden you hear a lot of birds calling. That's an alert signal. They're letting each other know. You see documentaries of monkeys in the jungle. One of them will suddenly scream, and the next thing you know, the whole bunch of them are screaming. Why? Because there's a danger down below. A monkey has spotted a predator. Or a monkey has spotted a tree full of food, fruit, whatever. And it's a signal. When you have a creature on the water and they slap their fin, if something swimming slaps its fin, that's a signal. What is the signal? Danger. It certainly isn't there's a party over at Bob's house. That's a whole other thing. That's our signal. So why are they doing it? Survival. This is tribal behavior. We learn and then teach. So we teach what we learned. If what we were taught isn't true, it takes a big recognition moment to realize that we have to rethink that automatic behavior. We either have to rethink our automatic response that we have now learned that's ingrained, or we have to rethink listening to that person who may have given us a wrong signal. If they did it on purpose, that's one thing. If they thought it was right, that's another thing. In both cases, for our survival, we have to pay attention and think twice. Problem is, paying attention and thinking twice is here. This is where the mirroring happens, and it happens that fast. It happens that fast. Follow me for more percussion tools. Don't join the band, Abby. Please don't join the band. So, what is the learning psychology in the morning? Yes, you are, Freddie. So here's the thing. The difference between mirroring, that is a fundamental part of our survival mechanisms to this day, because the subconscious brain has been here for millions and millions of years, and it's the one driving the bus. The difference between mirroring and pivotry is what I like to call mirroring 2.0. So here it is. Pivotry is going and getting on purpose the attitude, the mindset, and the intention that we have had in the past to use in the present. It's not what we do that we go and get. It's why we do it. We are blending subconscious mirroring and conscious intention, purpose, attitude together. Pivotry in motion is mirroring 2.0. And we have always been able to do it. And the reason we have not known we could do it is because it's subconscious. It's just there. We have no idea until someone says, "Why are you walking like that with your shoulder down?" What? Not walking with my shoulder down. Yes, you are. I'll take a picture. Click. See? Huh. It's your shoulder. Why wouldn't you know? Because unconsciously, subconsciously, you were protecting something. Unconsciously, subconsciously, you're looking after you. You're holding something tight to you, and you're not aware of it. You have over time developed that habit, and you don't even know. You have no idea. Why? Subconscious. When somebody says, "You've always walked with such a swagger." I do. Absolutely. You're always doing this. Really? Are you serious? Yes. Huh. How could you not know? Would you not feel your head doing it? No, you wouldn't. And the reason you wouldn't is because it's subconscious. You're not paying attention to why you're in that kind of, "I'm walking here," because you're too busy walking here. We can't step outside ourselves and go and stand over there because we're here. You know that old expression, "You cannot see the forest for the trees"? Hello, I am a tree. I'm in the way in the picture. As soon as I move out of the way, oh God, look, there's a forest. But right now, right up close, all I can see is the tree. We can't step away from ourselves until we know we need to, and then we learn how. And the difficulty, the challenge really, is that we don't come with an instruction booklet. Years ago, I thought it might be fun to do stand-up comedy. And while it is fun, it's a little like pivotry is on purpose, mirroring is a reflex action. That's right. That's right, Eddie. Good morning. So mirroring 2.0 is a reflex action made clear and front and center. It is not merely a reflex, it is an intention. It is guided reflex. And we're in charge. So Eddie and I were having this long conversation at one point about, what do you mean by what is the difference, the physical pivot and this mindset pivot? What are you talking about? And I finally, he said, is it different facets of us like a diamond? I said, yes, brilliant. So you picture a rose cut diamond, and there's a little point on your hand, and then it goes up like this. And when it turns, they always have them turn in the store, so you want to buy it because it's all sparkly. The reason it sparkles is not that the diamond sparkles. It's that it has all these facets. The rose cut has all these many facets. And each time the diamond turns just enough, the next facet catches the light, and the next one catches the light. And so it's like 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 a diamond going off, like lights going off. It really isn't lights going off. It's the recognition of each facet. So if we have always done this subconsciously, unconsciously, and if all of that is stored in the subconscious brain, why would we know we do it? I mean, we would be an extraordinary people if we did know. And the conversations that I've been having recently about this, because I'm honing this, every conversation about pivotry is giving me another insight that I can then give to you, right? I was talking to before I was talking to Gaetan, who is ex-military, I was talking to a girlfriend of mine who is a military brat, and then she became a military spouse. And so the military construct has been part of her life forever, as it has been mine. And because once you're a brat, you're always a brat. Doesn't matter how old you are, right? And I don't mean a brat in terms of, a troublemaker. The brat, the initials, they stand for British Regiment Attached Traveler. And it was obviously coined by the Brits a long time ago. And an attached traveler is someone who travels under the permission of the person who is enlisted. So as a child, I had a passport, but I was only given a passport because my father had a passport, and my father was traveling on a military passport. If he had been with the diplomatic corps, it would have been a diplomatic passport, and I would have had that, but not on my own. I hadn't qualified for it, except that I was the child of, and my mother was the spouse of. So in addition to that, everything that we do is a function of what it's like in that life. And in the military, there are so many moves and so many postings in so many different places, and they're abrupt. You get your papers maybe 2 weeks before you have to move. Maybe. It's not like in 6 months we're thinking of selling the house, because no. And because of that, you have to be quick. You have to be resilient. You have to be flexible. And you have to be able to watch, listen, learn, assess, retain, and apply. Now, all of those together, watch, listen, learn, assess, retain, apply. Those are the key behaviors in profiling. Really good profilers must be really good at all of those functions simultaneously, one right after the other. Not multitasking, but they have to be something that is being absorbed by the brain all the time, so that they can read and then recognize and then predict likely behavior. Exactly, Patrick, the Brat Patrol. So when you have the ability to quickly assess what is in front of you, what they're doing, recognize that they do it repeatedly, and therefore it's a pattern, you can logically conclude that they will probably do it again. If you know they're going to do it again, and you watch to confirm that, then you can predict it. You can know ahead of time that in any given situation, they're likely to do this. Profiling. Okay. If you want to blend in quickly, if you want to be part of the community, part of the crowd, part of the group quickly, because who knows how long you're going to be stationed anywhere, then you want to speed up the process of making a friend. The easiest and quickest way to make a friend is to look familiar to them. If everybody wears blue, wear blue, and you'll blend in. And they will recognize you as someone similar to them. If everybody leans to the left, lean to the left, and they say, one of us. It's easier for them to accept you sooner. You still have to go through a few hoops. You still have to jump through and qualify in some ways that are invisible, but it'll go faster because they already see you as A, not a threat, and B, therefore probably an asset. Strength in numbers. We are herd animals. So this ability to mirror consciously is how we have been able to survive in our social, cultural, evolving world. We are no longer members of one tribe. We no longer live in one village. We are members of many tribes. When I went to high school, I was in the high school tribe. When I went to dance classes after high school, after school, I was in the dance tribe. I briefly joined the singing tribe, but they voted me out. And I agreed with them because the only thing more painful than them listening to me sing is me listening to me sing because I'm right there. I hear me first. Oh my God. So, all the tribes, every single thing we do, we belong to the tribe of I am a child. I belong to the tribe of I am a military child. I belong to the tribe of I am a left-handed child. I am a red-headed child. I am a red-headed sibling. I have one mother and one father. That's a tribe. I drive a car. That's a tribe. I drive a particular kind of car. That's a tribe. So many tribes. The subconscious brain does not know this. The subconscious brain is in the present tense, and it only knows what it has always done and always known. It can perform simple, repetitive functions. It can learn new ones. We belong to a tribe. Our job is to please the alpha. The alpha keeps us safe. If we upset the alpha has the power to eject us from the tribe and kick us out of the cave where the saber-toothed whatnots live, and we will die. That is the basic formula. We mirror the alpha to please the alpha. The alpha wants us to eat. We don't know that. We don't know that. They know it. They're older. We're small. They teach us how. They show us how they eat. First time you go out to dinner in this modern day, first time you go out to dinner to somebody else's house, it's an astonishing thing because they don't hold their knives and forks the way we do in our tribe. When in Rome, do as the Romans do. Absolutely. Absolutely. Unless you're a tone-deaf tourist who can't read the room. Right? So many people speaking Italian here. So annoying. So when we mirror very young, we don't know we're doing it to survive. We don't know anything. We're doing it because the alpha is teaching us. And we instinctively, the subconscious brain, please the alpha. That's our job. That is our only job. Please the alpha. The alpha assigns a role for us within the tribe. We take that role. We don't question it. Later, as the alpha gets older and weaker and we get stronger, we may question it. We may become the new alpha. We become a new alpha. We take the mirrored behaviors we learned and we adapt them and put our own thumbprint on them. I was taught how to eat by left-handed people. I was taught how to do everything by left-handed people. My mother was firmly left-handed. My dad was ambidextrous, but he favored his left hand. My mother, when she was in school, they tied her left hand behind her back and they forced her to learn to write with her right hand. And it was excruciating for her because she was first, last, and always left-handed. And as soon as she left school, she stopped doing that. I didn't have to go through that. So everything that I do, I am naturally and innately left-handed. That is my dominant. I'm also really good at it, and I was really good at it fast because that's how they taught me. I didn't have to relearn it later on. I didn't have to start clumsy and then adapt. I was just clumsy with my dominant hand. So that's mirroring unconsciously, subconsciously, right? Mirroring 2.0 starts as subconscious, and then we take over. And that's when it becomes pivotry. And I'll show you. That thing I say when I'm talking about these are the different faces that you bring to present to the moment. When we see a puppy and he's only that big. Oh, it's in the palm of my hand and he's only that big. What am I doing? I'm mirroring the puppy. I'm mirroring a small creature that goes, "What? Achoo!" I'm mirroring that creature. I'm learning that creature. Got therapy today for Kat, luncheon with our niece, and great niece. Have a great day, Charles. Thank you for stopping by. So when we were running down the street, yelling at the guy driving the garbage truck who has said something pithy to you out the window of the truck, and we're yelling and we're running with a bag of garbage to fling into the back of the truck, we're mirroring that energy, that speed, that attitude. He's rude, so are we. He's loud, so are we. He's going at a rate of speed that's picking up, so are we. We are mirroring the moment. How do we know which voice to pick to match the moment, to own the moment? Mirroring. On that same morning, as this example I've given over and over again, you see the puppy, look at the puppy, and then you see the garbage man, you yell at the garbage man. You give him all those assorted hand signals just to make sure that you're communicating effectively. And the garbage man returns them because sign language. And then we go to work, same morning, right? We go to work and the boss says, come into my office. I want to talk to you. I love the way we're very pleased with your work and I'm impressed and we're going to give you a raise. We don't say to the boss, who's a good boy? And we don't say, you guys, faggot. We don't do that. And it's not because we know better. We know better. It's because we're mirroring him, her, them. We're mirroring their behavior. We're very pleased and very, very happy to offer you this. And we say, well, thank you very much. Thank you very much. He puts his hand out. You don't lick it. You could, but you probably wouldn't get the raise. At least you wouldn't get it immediately. First of all, they'd be calling the padded truck, and then you'd have the evaluation, then you'd come back, and they might think about giving you the raise. So we do what the alpha does. How is a puppy the alpha when it's only that big, when it's only this big? Because everybody around you, all of their focus is on the puppy. The puppy is the center of the energy. That's alpha. When a time when I was having a drink in a bar with my friend Carol, and I saw a woman coming toward me. It was Friday night. It was like 8 or 9 o'clock. A woman coming to more with a car carrier with a baby in it. I said, "Woman's carrying a baby." And as the woman got to me, it's loud music playing and everything. It's 9 o'clock at night in a bar. What the hell? And the woman said, "That's right. Would you like to hold the baby?" And there was nobody listening to her. Everything else was going on. She's not the alpha. Would you like to hold the baby? I didn't go, okay, no. I said, no. It's a discord in a room with a different kind of energy. Carol gave me a nudge, and I said, what? And she said, wrong. And so I said, oh, well, and I I shifted into the other mirroring moment. We mirror as a survival mechanism. Mirroring 2.0 is more than a survival moment. It's how we thrive. Survival is base entry, automatic, reflex, when in Rome, as Eddie says. Pivotry is looking at the situation and choosing consciously the quality we possess, the attitude we know, the intention, the purpose, and the mindset to own the moment, to be the best we can bring. And the reason we don't know we do it all the time is it because it begins in the subconscious. And we're not aware of any of those things. So I hope this is interesting to you. It fascinates me because I want to know. I'm the military brat, and I'm trying to assess and recognize patterns of behavior so that I can be who the person I am. I'm a pattern interrupter. I mean, the whole idea is whatever was going on right up until I walked in the room is going to change in 3, 2, 1, because I'm going to walk in with my intention, my mindset, my attitude, and I'm going to own the moment. I'm going to own the room. I don't have time to wait for 3 weeks or 6 months to make a friend. I have no idea how long I get to be here. So we're doing it now. Hi, how you like my boat? That's how I do what I do. It's why I do what I do. And all of it became familiar to me because I was a military brat first, and then I went into show business. And in show business, people call me and say, we'd like you to bring this quality of you, this character, this moment to this event, and we will pay you. And I say, what a good idea. I've always liked that about you when you pay me in advance. And so because I know, and because I have coached people in performance and branding and reading and profiling and applying all of this to their careers and to their lives and their relationships, because I have done this for such a long time, I know that my ability to teach you about pivotry is real. And the other thing I know, and this is of equal importance, so therefore it's not 1 and 2, it's this and this. Exactly, Freddie. Assessing the situation and responding in kind in order that no red flags go up and your presence is welcomed. Right? We are disarming the enemy, the potential enemy, and turning them into the friends who say, come in, sit down, can I get you a coffee? Here, let me take those shoes. That's the comfortable chair. We are turning the ownership of the moment into our ownership of the moment with pivotry. So responding in kind to take control while we're there. Pivotry in motion. The reason I'm talking about it, the reason I came up with the name, the reason I'm defining it, interviewing people, doing these videos, and soon I'll be doing live shows, is because I have watched with increasing alarm and concern and surprise at the way people have been overwhelmed and overcome in the wake of COVID. That completely surprised me. Nothing about COVID surprised me. That there was something that we had never heard of before, that it had the potential to be deadly, that we needed to take slightly different kinds of precautions than we always had with similar, less dangerous illnesses. Sure, that was a surprising moment, but it was part of a learning curve, saying, really? Okay, where do I get the mask? Where do I do this? How do I do that? Where do I get tested? I want to know as fast as possible so that I can take care of it, so that the agenda that I'm pursuing is not slowed down that much. It surprised me that people were having a problem with it. It really, really surprised me, and it confused me. And at first I thought, well, maybe it's because I'm a military brat, and military brats, for us, everything is temporary. We hope we live for a really long time, but we know we won't be living in this house for a really long time. And we won't be going to that school for a really long time. And we won't be doing that job with those people for a really long time, because we're going to get transferred and everything's going to change. So sudden change is familiar to us. It is something that we learn at a very early age to roll with, to respond to get in step with, and to step ahead of. Preemptive strike. We are very good at it. So I thought at first it was that. I thought that it's just me, it's just my background, and that's all there is to it. Then I said to myself, no, you know what? People have forgotten how they learn. And then I thought, oh no, it's not they've forgotten. They never knew how they learned. They don't know how to learn this. There's so much conflicting information. It's so confusing. They're so distracted by the fact that they're losing their job and they can't go to the prom and they can't go to the concert. And somebody who looks like they got a cold suddenly died. All of these alarming, scary, dangerous things are the priority. No time to learn when you're running, screaming in the opposite direction. Or if you're not running, you're fighting against it. Or if you're not fighting against it, you're freezing and hiding from it, hoping it goes away. Maybe it'll miss me. Okay, those are survival mechanisms, but they're not thriving mechanisms. You're not allowing yourself to learn how to thrive within this temporary reality. You're not watching actively how people are behaving if you've got your eyes closed and you're screaming, you're not the boss of me. The analogy would be that as a baby, and we see it, you know, the parent trying to feed you like this, and the baby going, "Rah!" Right? Okay, but that's what so many of us have done during COVID. The other thing that we've done during COVID, even if we did try to learn how to comply or distance ourselves or be helpful. If you don't believe in a vaccination, that's your thing. If you don't believe that you needed to take the steps, you refuse to wear a mask, that's your thing. However, if we are living together in close proximity, the least you can do is be considerate of other people's patterns of behavior and habits. If your tribe doesn't do it, that's your tribe. If you are going to mingle with my tribe, this is how we do it here. There has to be some kind of compromise. Awesome. Excellent. Congratulations, Eddie. So if we are refusing to learn, it's not because we say, I'm not going to mirror what you're doing. We're just saying, no, you can't make me. No, 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 no. Well, then as a baby, you would have starved. Today, if you refuse to even learn the technique, what you're doing is you're starving yourself of knowledge. You're starving yourself of technique. You're starving yourself of a survival behavior. You may not like it. You may not believe in it. You may not want to ever apply it. But, why wouldn't you learn it? If somebody says this is the way to save yourself from a shark attack. Okay, so I don't plan to be going where there are sharks. However, if they're going to show you, why wouldn't you learn it? Why wouldn't you want to know? More knowledge, good thing. Less knowledge, dumb thing. So, mirroring 2.0 is knowingly choosing the exact right quality, attitude, mindset, intention, purpose, skill. Sure to blend in, sure to be part of the team. Also, to own the moment, to bring the best you got, so that the rest of the team welcomes you with open arms as an asset. Even if you don't want to be a leader, if you're good at something, if you're good at a skill, I'm good at making people laugh. I'm good at sharing ideas. I'm good at getting people to say, I didn't think of that. Those are my superpowers. Why wouldn't I want to learn how to do that better? Why wouldn't I want to learn why I do it and how I do it and where it comes from? The more I know, the gooder I get. So pivotry in motion is mirroring 2.0. It is our primitive learning capability, our automatic reflex, go get it, with the icing and the cherry and the sprinkles of, and I'm going to choose that one for this reason. It's the combination. It is the moment when that brain and this brain are working together on purpose. That is unique. That is unique and exciting and magical. So now I'm going to take us back to Gaetan and the dogs and PTSD and why a service dog can trigger what happens next. The thing about a dog, I was watching a very clever philosopher the other day. I love the way he talks. He says, we call ourselves human beings. We don't call dogs dog beings or cat beings or snake beings or bird beings. The reason we don't do that, this philosopher's conclusion, is that we are cognizant. We understand the past. We understand the future. We understand the present. And we have the ability to shift past, present, future. Past through present to future, future through present to past. We have that capability. The dog, because we're talking about service dogs, we're talking about support dogs. Dogs are in the present moment. Dogs are now. Dogs have the subconscious brain. Everything is now. The dog that we get from a rescue, from a shelter, that has trauma, has learned something from the way the dog was treated before. The dog has learned not that human is mean. That's a little complicated. The dog has learned a danger signal. When someone picks up a stick, it's dangerous to me. I will hide, freeze, comply, fight, flee. Those are the only responses the dog knows. The dog is in the present moment. What it has learned over time is to recognize danger signals. It's not that my owner was mean, it's that a stick is a danger. If the owner was tall and the owner was brutalizing, then tall is a danger. It's very simple, very effective. And it causes the dog to act in a way that saves its life. And it takes a long time to rewire that in the dog, a long time to calm the dog down. And I think a lot of us know, we've met people who have adopted rescue animals, have seen documentaries on animals that have been in some way abused. And sometimes they never recover. They are never able again to forget that sudden fear that makes no sense in a normal, happy situation. And sometimes they can gradually calm down, and sometimes they can live a less fearful existence. And that's a wonderful thing. The dog is always in the present moment. I'm wondering if you can see where I'm going with this. When the dog has the ability to sense the chemical shift in you, when you are inches, seconds away from an epileptic seizure, a diabetes, dive, a traumatic stress moment, and the dog is trained to touch you. Why does it work? And the answer is this. When the dog touches you, physically touches you, it is a pattern interrupt. We are jolted temporarily, fleetingly. We are jolted from what the subconscious thinks is happening, what the subconscious is reacting to, which is the imagined terror, the imagined danger. We are distracted from that briefly because something warm touched us, and we look at it. And the minute we look at it, the minute we feel it, the minute we come face to face with a dog that has managed to interrupt what that was, that's alpha. We mirror the dog's present moment, here in the moment, here in the here and now, calm. The dog is not running and barking and cowering. The dog is not having the flashback that the human is having. The dog is interrupting. The dog is looking at you. And as we feel the dog and we look at the dog, we mirror the dog in the present moment only. We can't mirror them remembering a past or thinking of a future. They're incapable of doing that. We are mirroring what they do. And that is why it works. Isn't that incredible? When we know, and every single person who is trained with their dog, it's a long process. First train the dog, then you find you have to match the dog with the right human, because it must be a sympathetic connection between the human and the dog. And you know, sometimes we meet animals and we think, yeah, not for me. I know people who have an instant connection to horses. I think horses are beautiful, and I would really like them to stay over there because they're very big. And I say to myself, see, the opportunity for really interesting, surprising things increases with the size of the animal. The severity of the venom, the sharpness of the teeth. Just saying. So I've only ever been on 2 horses in my life, and they threw me separately, both of them. So I'm not going to be quick to say, oh yes, let me go and ride another one. Unless I'm covered all over with cushions strapped to my body. Because it's not the fall off the horse that's the problem. It's the landing. And then, oh my God, please, 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 horse, don't stand on me, because I'm under the horse now. So in this opportunity I had talking to Gaetan yesterday, I said, so pivotry, and I explained it to him. He said, I love it. I love it. And it is completely and entirely and 1,000% compatible with everything that we are doing with the dog training. And we need to blend in what you're doing with what we're doing. And I said, I'm in. I'm completely in. I think it's brilliant, because I have to tell you, my lovelies, I spent 10 months, the last recent 10 months, 8 of them up and down highways with frenzied drivers in various hospitals with doctors and nurses and orderlies and interns and assistants and terrified patients and concerned, confused, lost, and anxious families. And I have seen the way people behave when they step out of those roles and into their civilian selves, and they have to go to the grocery store and they have to stand in line and they have to get fuel for their car and they have to figure out where to park and they have to take care of mowing the lawn and the neighbor across the street, and nobody is doing well. And I'm not Mother Teresa. I'm Valerie Prever. If I'm going to be anybody's mom, I'm not Mother Teresa. I'm a human being, and I belong to a lot of tribes. And selfishly, I would like my experience within each of my wonderful tribes to be amazing, to be joyful, to be abundant, to be, yeah, all right, spike the ball, walk in here. Yeah, we're table number one. I would rather it was that. When you frown, you get all these awful, unfortunate lines on your face. You know, people say to me, God bless them, my God, how do you look the way you look? You don't look sad. You don't look old. You look amazing. You're colorful. My choice. My choice. Do I want to feel terrible and look worse? Gee, no. Then the best, easiest first step down that path is to surround myself with people who also want to feel that way, who also want to feel awesome, even on a bad day. Even on a day when you think, oh God, I don't know, feel off. Really? Okay. But the good news is you're able to feel. I mean, you're here. Bonus. Okay, get a beverage that makes you feel good. Drink the beverage. Put on the outfit that makes you feel good. Look in the mirror. All right then. Don't put on something that makes you look stupid. Don't hang around with people who are annoying and complaining and whining. Human mosquitoes. Don't hang around with the human version of the yappy small dog. We can't always distance ourselves. Therefore, we would like to invite them to find the happier side when they're with us. You know what? I had this saying, and you are free to use it. I give it to you as long as you spell my name right. When people are deliberately being just, stupid, annoying, you know what I say to them? Okay, here's a plan. Why don't you go down to the bottom of the garden and eat worms by yourself? And they're so surprised they don't know what to make of it. I'm telling you what to make of it. Go and do the stupid thing on your own. Well, why don't you leave? Because I'm not the one doing the stupid thing? Well, I'm in charge and you can leave. All right, then. I am leaving. I'll just go get my cute outfit and I'll see you later when you're out of whatever that move is. Now, I'm not saying that we aren't entitled to have a difficult day. Yes, it is. Yes, it is, Freddie. I'm not saying we're not entitled to have a bad day. I'm not saying that we're not entitled to be overwhelmed. I'm not saying that we're not entitled to just want to lie face down on the kitchen floor or like a starfish on a beach. Of course we are. What I'm saying is, you're not alone. We are not alone. And we have the tools to bring us to a happier place. And we're very, very good at it. We are very, very good at it. It is our superpower. Pivotry in motion is mirroring 2.0. And we are the rock stars of that ability. And my goal, selfishly, is to teach you how to access yours, to show you where to find it, to help you practice it, to give you the tools so that you can say, Yeah, I'm walking here. Thanks, app. I don't babysit. I don't want to see people twice a week for 50 years. I want to give people the opportunity to access the portal and walk through to the other side where knowledge and confidence and joy and abundance live. I want to show you where it is, and I want to show you not how to do it. I want to show you how you've always done it and how you can now do it on purpose. That's what I want to do. So, to kind of wrap this up finally, the best news is so far, first step, when I do Fanaticon 4 on Sunday, August 13th in Ottawa at the Ottawa Conference Centre in Vanier, just off the Parkway, Gaetan Lacasse is going to join me in the booth. And he's bringing Zoe, his service dog, because he doesn't go anywhere without her. They have done many of these con events. They have gone to many of these large crowd events. They're very good at it. I said the first time, why are you okay here? And he said, because everybody who comes to an event like this has come to remember something that made them feel good about themselves. They are my tribe. I'm not wearing my uniform. They are wearing theirs. When they come as cosplayers, we are all here for the same reason. We are here to mirror our best self and own the moment. And Zoe is my assistant. And I said, well, I can't wait. So I have not had him at an event since 2019. He came to a book launch and he was at my booth as a visitor, stopping by when I first met him at Ottawa Comic Con. And I think that Gaetan and I have all kinds of wonderful plans just beginning to emerge that can help with Pivotry, that can help with his project, finding support, finding funding, finding interest, finding candidates, finding dogs, connecting with other organizations. I think that together we have a real opportunity to make this universal. Gaetan isn't just doing this for veterans. He's not just doing it for first responders. He's not just doing it for healthcare workers and frontline people who have to show up. He's also added to the list survivors of crimes. Think about that. Just think about that for a second. When he said survivors of crimes, I blinked and said, oh my God, yes, the forgotten trauma. Unbelievable. So Eddie, yes, but first you have to tell them, Eddie, to go to the bottom of the garden. It's over there. Why don't you go to the bottom of the garden? Make sure you don't want them bringing the worms to the situation. Location, location, location. So today's episode, longer, Freddie was right. Yes, but it was a super episode because of the content, because of what I am sharing with you. I have been promising I would tell you where Pivotry lives and how it works. I have now today given you the first layer of understanding. There is technique to learn. There are exercises that we will do, really fun ones. And when the book is finished, you will be able to read all the different lives and how they have managed to pivot to own their moments, what they have done to change and shift their mindset and their attitude and their purpose. So it's not just me telling you, because that, to me, that allows you to say, well, she's in show business, she was military. I mean, easy for her. It's not easy. It's just that I was exposed to it so early and so frequently that has made it something that has become a conscious skill. So reading all these other life stories, that helps you to say, Oh my God, that's me. Oh my God, that's my brother. Oh my God, that's my boss. And that increases the speed that you can travel your way through the learning leaping curve. It gives you greater aha sooner when you see the many examples. So all of this is coming. All of this was put on hold suddenly, abruptly, when my lovely friend got so sick. And I had to set it aside. Never forgetting, always observing, jotting quick notes when I had the chance. That's part of this. That I'm going to have to remember. And believe me, I do. So that we can create overlapping ponds where the ripple effect of positivity and joy and ownership and confidence and self-esteem are how we live, how people like us do things like this, so that we feel less lost. We feel less abandoned. We feel less invisible. We feel less afraid. And we can be the people we've always been. We don't have to do more to be more. We don't have to chase a new trend. We are the trend. We're awesome. We're already here. We just need to know where to park the car or where we left it the last time. And that's what I'm here to do. So, Gaetan and Zoe will be in my booth. I will have more news on the One Woman Show and Pivotry. I will have these fabulous new different souvenirs. I have a couple of others I haven't told you about. We will have not one, but two photographers capturing the magic at my booth, where everyone who enters my booth is immediately transformed into another part of themselves. And we can see it. We can see it in the pictures. We can see the transformation. How they were when they came, how they are when they're there, how they are when they leave. My booth is Pivotry in Motion Central. And it's a fun place to be. So today was Tuesday. Thank you for watching. Tell your friends. We have 268 members on my YouTube channel, 268 subscribers. And I was telling somebody last week that YouTube has changed the numbers. And once you get 500, you can start to qualify to make some money from the views. Doesn't mean you pay. It means YouTube pays. So if you're watching this on Facebook, yay, congratulations, I love you. Tell your friends. Let's build up my Facebook following. If you're watching it on YouTube, yay, I love you. Tell your friends. Let's build up the subscribers on YouTube so that we can get some money in the kitty so I can do all these things. Is that a deal? I hope so. And I love, love, love the way we're having all the comments. Please do more. Tell your friends when you say, you got to watch this. It's really cool. They can go and look at the previous ones. What you want them to do is say, you got to watch it, put it in your calendar and comment. Because when you comment, I answer you. So this is like we're having a real conversation, right? So I want to thank you for coming. I want to thank you for prioritizing this, for joining me on this journey. It's amazing. It wouldn't be happening without you. You are the fuel that's running this bus. And therefore, you need to be good to you. You are essential. You deserve it. And remember to hug your loved ones. They deserve it too. And I will catch you on Thursday with more on this. Isn't it awesome? Thanks for watching.